No, ma'am.
All right. The defendant entered a plea to the lesser included offense of aggravated child. Punishment is to be assessed at cap 15 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine, and the state is opposing your application for deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections from the state?
We just have one matter of clarification, Your Honor.
Yes.
As far as page 2, the assault bodily injury married case, that was actually a deferred case where it was subsequently dismissed. And I just want to be clear because the 2005 case that was listed also when you had deferred was eventually dismissed, but it also reflected deferred.
Okay. All right. Anything from the defense?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. State, you're opposed to the application?
Yes, Your Honor. And we have no witnesses. May we just proceed to argument?
Yes. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
I do, Your Honor.
Who is your witness?
I have a daughter and two daughters and a wife.
All right. Call them up, please. Who's your first witness? Could you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you can state your name for the record, please.
Crystal Anaya,
All right, could you spell the last name?
Anaya.
All right, defense.
Crystal, in what relationship are you to Mr. Medina?
I'm his daughter.
Okay, and do you have something you want to tell the court?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I would like to. Your Honor, I just want to thank you for this opportunity to address the court on behalf of my sister and I. I'm very aware of the allegations that my brother has been accused of, but those allegations are false, Your Honor. So I would like to say a few words. I've had my dad in my life for
Just 1
4
moment.
years now.
Excuse
He's
me.
been there for every birthday.
A second. Yes.
We're going to object to the narrative aspect of this line of questioning.
All right, that'll be sustained as to narrative.
Okay, do you want to just, in your own words, tell what your father's been to you?
He's just been there for everything, for every birthday, every holiday, every major event. He's been in my kids' lives, my sister's lives, like for almost 40 years now. I mean, he's just my everything. He's my dad.
I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions, state?
Yes, Miss Anaya, do you have any kids?
I do, yes. I have 2 boys.
You have 2 boys?
Yes.
I'll pass witness.
All right, thank you. Any further?
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, call your next witness, please.
I'm speaking on behalf of her.
You want to call it what? Ms. Medina?
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. Could you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Lydia Medina.
And Ms. Medina, what relationship, if any, are you to Eddie Medina?
I'm his wife.
And how long have you been married to Mr. Medina?
We've been married 22 years.
Okay. Do you suffer from any physical ailments? Do you have something that medical problems that he helps you with?
Yes.
And what are those?
I don't drive anymore.
Okay.
Disabled.
Why are you, is there a specific diagnosis?
Yes, I'm legally blind.
Okay. And do you have doctor's appointments and things like that?
Yes, I do.
And so Mr. Medina is basically your sole source of transportation
Yes.
and income?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
All right, state.
Miss Medina, do you receive any type of federal benefits?
No.
So you don't receive disability?
Yes, I do. Yes.
And how much is your disability a month?
How much is it?
Yes.
817.
Do you receive any other benefits?
No, I don't.
Do you receive any type of medical care?
I have Medicare.
You have Medicare?
Yes.
As far as your husband is concerned, does he work?
Yes.
Where does he work?
He works for Alamo. He's a limo driver for the funeral home.
How much money does he make a month?
It's more like a part-time job, so it just varies.
Okay, and does he receive any type of disability or
Yes, he's also retired.
he's retired?
Yes.
Does he receive benefits from his retirement?
Yes, he does.
Okay, but how much money does he bring in a month?
It's $1,273.
So combined, you make about, so both you and him combined make about $2,000 a month.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other person living in your home?
No, sir.
You don't have any children or grandchildren that live with you?
No.
I'll pass the witness round.
The $1,200 a month is social security benefits.
That's his, and then mine is 817.
Okay. No further questions.
All right, thank you. Call your next witness, please.
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, then the court will hear argument. State.
Yes, Your Honor. So the state is asking that you deny his application for deferred adjudication and that you sentence him to the full 15 years in prison. And that's based on a number of things. First, I think the court has to look at the facts of this case as has been stipulated by the defendant during his plea. We have obviously egregious conduct, any type of sexual touching or interaction with a child is obviously concerning and in and of itself might deserve prison. But the aggravating factors on this case, Your Honor, is that the length of period of time that this occurred, the age of the child when these allegations first started happening, and then as well as the aggravating factors of kind of the threats that he gives in order to prevent the victim from coming forward and her feeling to be able to come forward with the fact that her step-grandfather has been touching her for a number of years. Then I think we have to look at the conduct of the defendant during his sentencing, and most specific, obviously, during the PSI. It's very clear that he minimizes his guilt. And what's even more concerning, Your Honor, is, you having dealt with these types of cases, your career, you see the kind of classic behavior of him projecting the culpability of this case on the victim and not on him, for him not being able to keep his hands off of as young as a 6-year-old child. And we see him saying things like, she's wearing low-cut blouses, and people were telling her about sexual behavior. And we can go to it specifically. On page 13, where he says she was way ahead of her time and she was sexually advanced. Further, we see on page 14 and 15, him making comments like, if this happened, why didn't she say nothing to her mom? Why wait 4 years to say something? I think the court is well aware when you make threats to a child, nobody's going to believe them, that or something might happen to them if they come forward, that they've been being abused. That might be a reason they don't tell their mom. That might be a reason why it takes them over 4 years to make an outcry of what's happening to them. Also, I see that, in looking at this, he doesn't look about what has happened to the victim and how this has had consequences, not just on her life, but everyone who touches her life. If you look on page, sorry, I have it marked, page 12 of the PSI, says, I don't know why she would do this to me. Well, I think the better question, Your Honor, is why would he do this to somebody so young, somebody who's related to him, and most importantly, a child? Can't forget that. And so the last thing I think the court has to look at is the effect that it's had on the victim in this case. And I think the letter that the victim wrote that is attached to the PSI is very telling of a girl who, so obviously something happened traumatic. From the outside, you can say this is very traumatic to happen to a child, but even she's telling you what effect this has had on her life, that she's been having flashbacks, that she's even gone as far as says that she almost, these things almost made her take her own life. These are things that this child is going to have to live with, not just for the next 15 years, that, you know, the term that we are asking that this defendant serve in prison, but she's going to be dealing with this for the rest of her life. This is going to be a burden on her shoulders for the rest of her life, and not by something that she did, by somebody intentionally, somebody knowingly perpetrating on a child. I think 15 years, honestly, is sometimes it feels like it's not enough, but in this case, it has to be enough based on the plea bargain that the state has entered in with the defendant. And so we're asking that you deny his application and you appropriately sentence him to the maximum under the plea term, which is 15 years. Thank you.
Defense?
Yes, ma'am.
No, excuse me, are you going to testify?
I think he just wants to make a statement.
I just
Judge.
want to make a statement, ma'am.
Well, I mean, I can place you under oath and you'll be
ma'am.
subject to
Yes, ma'am.
questioning. Did you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Defense, do you have any questions?
Do you have a statement you
Yes,
wanted
I
to
do.
make to the court?
You know, ma'am, everything that the gentleman just said and accused me of, you know, the blouse and lowering the all that time, she was coming to our house way before all this has happened. She was coming to our house. She was spending the weekends with me and my wife. She was going swimming in my swimming pool. And as she started to develop, well, I started telling my wife, she started wearing low-cut blouses, showing her breast. And I kept trying to tell her in front of my wife, you need to pick up your blouse. Pick up your, I don't know why your dad's not letting you wear that, but you need to pick up your blouse. So I did tell her that to pick up her blouse. Then me and my wife were talking in the bedroom, and she has in the bathroom. The bathroom and our bedroom were kind of adjacent to us. And of course, she started her monthly. And I told my wife, she needs to let us know when she's starting. That way we can have the proper equipment for her. Okay. So she heard it and she came out kind of upset. And I tried to tell her, you need to talk to us and let us know. That way we can have this stuff, because me and your mom, we're grandparents. We don't keep that stuff. Like, you know, I'm 64 years old. My wife is 54. So my wife doesn't have that anymore. You need to let us know what cycle you're at. That way we can have these pads for her. And her spending the weekend with us, you know, my grandsons, I got grandsons, I got nephews and nieces, you know, all this stuff that she's accused of me of doing really, really startled me and my wife and my family members that are back here, my sisters that are supportive of me of all this allegations that I am getting. You know, I've never been in trouble. I've never been in you know, besides what he said about me and my wife had a little conflict. I just retired, and, you know, and all this stuff that gentleman is saying about my granddaughter. I love her as I love my other grandkids, you know, and it just hurts me to hear all that, because if that was the case, my family members wouldn't be here to support me. My daughters wouldn't be here to support me and speak up for me, because they know her also. They called her Tia. They called her, you know, all this other stuff, all these birthdays, New Year's. Me and my wife would go out there, buy her presents. All these, you know, birthdays that she had, she would come over to our house. She would spend the night at our house. She would sit right next to me and show me her coloring that she was drawing and so forth, so on. So, you know, Your Honor, I just don't understand, you know, why she, you know, I can't understand why, because the words, she grew up on the other side of the family. And the reason, like he was saying, that she was well mature, well, she was, because she had aunts that would tell her all these other stuff that grown-ups should only know. And the reason we know is because my daughter that just passed away, she would tell us. She would tell my wife and us that she's well ahead of time. And we kept trying to tell her, don't send her over there. don't go over there it was the Dimas family. Don't go over there because, you know, they've been involved with DPS,
Yes.
police, all over.
Narrative.
All right, sustained.
Anyway,
That's enough.
okay, I'm sorry. That's enough, Judge. Sorry about that. I just had to do,
Judge, we would ask that you grant him probation. If
Oh,
not,
just 1 second, Mr.
Oh.
Chirek. State, any questions?
I sure do.
Oh.
Say you, Mr. Medina, you talked about all these nice things that you did for Leticia.
yes, sir.
Did that justify you putting her finger in her vagina?
I didn't do that, sir. No,
Does it?
I didn't do that at all. At all.
Does it
At
justify?
all.
Does it justify you making her touch your penis?
Sir, if I did that, there is if she can tell you if there's a certain mole on me, then if she could tell you she saw that, then fine. But I'm here to tell you none of that's happened. None of it. Because
Okay.
my wife. Go
Okay.
ahead, sir.
So you did all these nice things for her.
No. I didn't do all those nice things for her. I didn't. It was because she was our granddaughter. Me and my wife did it, not just me.
Mr. Medina, how this works is I ask a question and then you answer it, okay? So
Yes, sir.
I'll ask you my next question. My next question is that you did all of these nice things for her that, despite doing all of those nice things for her, your testimony is that she just fabricated all of these things about you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, my wife was there all the time. She was there all the time. My daughter, now that she passed on, she was there all the time. My stepson lived with us at that time. I mean, everything happened there at the house, what she's accusing me of. And my wife, I would tell her, she said something in one of them that I bathed her. I never bathed her. My wife is here to tell you, I never bathed her. Never. I don't know where she's got this bathing that I bathed her. I never did.
Okay.
And I would tell my wife,
Mr. Medina.
answer the question.
Yes, sir.
So again, you did all these nice things for her. She just makes up these allegations. And we're not talking about bathing here. We're talking about things like you putting your finger in her vagina and that you making her touch your penis. She just made all those things up.
I never did, sir. I never did.
Okay.
I'd be the first one to tell you, yes, I did. I'm a former Marine, sir, and I would tell you right from the get-go, I would never, ever, ever do anything like that to my grandkids. Never. I have.
Mr. Medina, it's a yes or no answer.
Okay.
So you're doing all these nice things for her. She just made up allegations about you putting your finger in her vagina and other things like making her touch your penis. She just made those.
She never did.
Judge, I'm going to object. That's already been asked and answered numerous times.
Never did, sir.
That'll be overruled. And the defendant has just, if you can answer the question, please.
No, sir.
Mr.
No, sir.
Medina.
No, ma'am. I never did any of that. Never.
So she made it up.
I'm assuming she did, sir, because I'll be the first one to say
Thank you,
I
Judge.
did. If I did all that, I guarantee you, my family members that are back here, my sisters, my brothers, my wife, my two daughters wouldn't be here with me at all.
All right,
At
any
all.
follow-up questions, Mr. Chirek?
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, any further witnesses from either side?
None from this-
All
Nothing
right,
further from
the
defense.
state is opposed to the application. What are you asking for, Mr. Chirek?
Judge, I'd ask that you put him on deferred adjudication probation, and if not, sentence him to the minimum of 5 years.
All right, state, you've already stated what you're requesting.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court is denying the application. The court will find you guilty, sentence you to $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent. There's to be no contact with Leticia Dimas. Chapter 62 registration, and the court will sentence you to 15 years in prison. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it? And just give us one moment.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Did you review this document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Medina.
Your Honor, we have victim impact. Can we just be put in a breakout room for that? Or we can take
I will put you in breakout room number 1 to the courtroom. If it's feasible for you to go to number 1, then if you can go to breakout room number 1, if it's